Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Screen Junkies Universe. I know it's Wednesday because I just saw Ed getting a coffee in the break room. Dan Murrell is here. I'm Roth Cornet. Joe Starr is back from vacation. We missed you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How was Tennessee, Alabama, Tennessee?
Humidity. I was very sticky and eaten by bugs. It was good. It was a good visit. I'm happy to be back to talk about Bautista and other things.
Let's do it, because we got a lot to talk about today. Dan and I did an update on Suicide Squad 2 yesterday, but there's more to discuss and get your take. We're going to talk about Spider-Man, maybe in a KRAVEN solo movie. And Merry Christmas to me, the world's greatest Christmas movie, is coming to Netflix. We will get there. Plus, we have some horse bromance news.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be very. This one's for Dan.
Yes. I'm so excited to talk about this.
We got lots of good stuff today.
Call me William Shatner, because all I want to talk about is horses.
We'll call you William Shatner. We'll call you Captain, sir.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like it. It sticks. Bautista. So yesterday it was revealed via a number of the trades that James Gunn was essentially, it sounds like, signed on to write Suicide Squad 2 with an eye to potentially direct Suicide Squad 2. Dave Bautista, who is the world's most loyal friend, like, may we all have one friend in our lives who's even remotely this loyal, immediately jumped on Twitter and said, and retweeted one of the articles saying, "Where do I sign up?" So he is so clearly done with Disney and Marvel at this point. It's going to be interesting to see what they do about it. In an interview with IGN, this is what he had to say. He said, "Yeah, there's a bit of an issue." Does that seem like an understatement, Dave? It's a bittersweet conversation. It's a bitter conversation, because I'm not really happy with what they've done with James Gunn. They're putting the movie off. It's on hold indefinitely. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I want to work for Disney. Like, damn. Like, honestly, I don't think my mom would be this loyal, or literally anyone in my life would be as loyal.
I almost tweeted it. Get you a man that looks at you the way Bautista looks at James Gunn.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, Billy and I were talking about this morning. Like, we were listing through the people in our lives, like, who would we give up that Disney money for, and who would give up that Disney money for us? And I think we came at, like, it was a zero-sum, like, nobody. You know?
Yeah. Bautista walks alone inside this pit of danger.
So first, pardon me. Question one is sort of, what do you make of this in terms of, like, the literal zero F's he has to give about what is about to be the biggest studio in Hollywood, Disney Fox? And then two, do you think he would join Suicide Squad 2?
Well, yeah, of course he would.
Well, no, I mean, as what character would we like to see him join? Things like that.
I don't know what his contract says. I cannot imagine that he will be a major player. And then I just, at this point, it's like, it's one thing to criticize Disney, but then to, like, be like, there's a competitive studio that you're like, yeah, I'll do that. It's just, it doesn't seem like either one. Why would either one of them want to work with?
It's not great for his career, I don't think.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Not with Disney, definitely.
No.
So but I don't know what his contract says. I mean, the thing about contracts is they can say whatever the person who wrote them wants them to say. Generally, that's how they work. That's why they're written the way that they're written. But at the same time, it's like, is there a penalty? Is there, maybe Disney says, screw you, I don't care what you say. I'll see you in court if you don't want to be Drax anymore. So it's another wrinkle. But for what they're saying with James Gunn taking it in a different direction, I don't know. I mean, I think there's any number of ways they could work it in if they wanted to.
I simultaneously am in awe of this, and, like, I do think loyalty is, it is truly my most, if not, like, one of my most, if not my most valued traits in a relationship, and it's pretty rare that people are legitimately loyal. But is this taking it a bridge too far for his own career, do you think, Ed?
I mean, I think it's one of these things where you get very few times in your life to actually make a stand, and I think he thinks of it as that. I think he thinks of this
Twitter
as
would tell us otherwise.
Yeah, well,
literally every second of the day is a time to make a stand.
Well, see, but that's the thing. They're making a stand on nothing with nothing to lose. Whereas he is, obviously, this is McCarthyism to him.
Yeah.
And he wants to look back on history and say that Drax didn't run from a fight in real life. That's what he thinks, I bet. So I think he's going to stick to his guns, but also his guns. But also, I think that I think he might not be contracted for that third Guardians movie. I don't know. It might be one of those things where there are certain contexts where it's like you're guaranteed for a sequel, and then they have to pay you more for the third one. So he may have a contract.
Oh, that's not how
like
Marvel does.
Oh yeah, well maybe.
No,
yeah.
that's not how they do contracts, especially not when Dave was relatively unknown starting. I mean, he in the wrestling world.
Yeah, they could lock him up. I could see that.
Actor, yeah.
So yeah, he could, as you stated, experience real career fallout if he decides to go against Disney.
Yeah.
But just imagine just the biopic later where Bautista's in like a congressional hearing fighting for his right to defend his friend. I'm just fighting for my friend or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's kind of cool.
What do you think, Joe?
I don't think his career is in like that huge a danger. Will he work for Disney again? Probably not. But there are still, to this date, a couple of studios still standing.
Currently.
Not for long.
Currently.
You know, at this date, the mouse doesn't own WWE. He can always go back there. He can go, wrestle
does?
wherever. Vince McMahon still owns WWE. It's still a small family business, Roth. A small publicly traded
Is that
family
true?
business. Yeah.
That's
I
good.
think
That's
so.
actually
Billy,
really
am I
impressive.
an idiot? Billy's busy. I'm sorry. He is.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's actually really impressive.
But
Yeah.
so I mean, he can do one-off appearances with them for an untold amount of money for the rest of his life if he wants. It gets to the point where sometimes it's about more than career, and this guy sees something he really doesn't like, and he's speaking up about it, and props to him. Sometimes you just have to really kind of put everything on hold and make some folks uncomfortable to kind of do what you feel is right. And yeah, props to him. He feels like his buddy got mistreated, and so he's gonna stay loud about it.
Yeah.
I can honestly see Disney just being like, you know what, it's not worth the headache. Like,
Let Drax go.
goodbye.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, and I want to do an asterisk on what I just said. Appropriate loyalty, I think, is my most valued trait. Appropriate loyalty, and to him, Bautista, this feels appropriate, to your point, versus the rest of the cast. I think feels like, yeah, we said what we had to say, and we're still gonna do Guardians 3 should that come to fruition.
The other cast are the people who show up to the fight to back you up, and they just sort of go like this.
Well, but also when you look at
Dave's
the
like, I'm taking off my
Yeah,
earrings.
Dave's putting Vaseline on his
Put on the
face.
Vaseline.
I could see why Bautista, though. I mean, possibly why he's taking this, because when you look at the rest of the cast, Chris Pratt, already established, Parks and Rec, long career. Zoe Saldana had been an Avatar, and Star Trek already. Bradley Cooper, obviously Vin Diesel. They're well established people. Bautista was the guy that largely James Gunn, I'm sure, had a very instrumental role in saying, I'm going to take the gamble with you, and I'm going to give you this big part. Which, while he was very successful in the wrestling world, he was fairly still a small name in the acting world, and has opened up a lot of doors. So I can see why he might be the one that's just like, I'm ride or die. I'm not backing down. I'm sticking with, this guy gave me the biggest break in my life, and I'm going to ride with him. I could see it makes sense to me why out of everyone, like, I don't think it's disloyalty from the rest of the cast. I see why Bautista is the one that's out there and in the forefront, because he was the one that they took the biggest risk on, and that paid off incredibly well.
Yeah, no judgment on the rest of the cast at all. I think they came out and they did support him, and they said what they had to say, but I think he's taking it to an unusual place of
look, I've seen him betray enough people in a wrestling ring that this could all be
he's
on the set of Suicide Squad 2 with the King Shark fin on his head, and all of a sudden he just kicks James Gunn in the stomach and spray paints a mouse on everybody, and it's crazy. So
where'd he get that?
All be a work.
Where'd he get that folding chair from?
Has it on him at all times. Keeps it in a skinny jeans.
There's
somehow.
so much of me that wants this to be an entire orchestrated between Marvel and DC. Let's just take from the wrestling and we'll just troll each other into the theaters.
Fingers crossed.
That's actually now I think that's what's happening, Joe. Conspiracy. Dun, dun. Spider-Man. There's still other studios for now, besides the impending 21st century Disney.
Including studios that really want to be best friends with that studio.
Yes, including studios that rely heavily on Marvel. And that is Sony, who had great success this past weekend, launching their extended Spider-Man universe with Venom. So they are probably quickly moving forward with the other films planned in that universe, including KRAVEN the Hunter. So screenwriter Richard Wenk, he spoke to Slash Film. It's not dumb. So to Slash Film, and in an interview with Discussing Film Show, which... You know what? I applaud how direct that title is for a show. Discussing film. Like, I know exactly what you're doing. What is Screen Junkies universe? We don't know either. So this is what he had to say. I'm just starting it, meaning the script. It's an interesting world, a great character. It's going to adhere very closely to the lore of KRAVEN the Hunter, and he is going to come face to face with Spider-Man. Record scratch, what?
We'll see.
But no follow-up, and then he just continued to say, I'm just beginning the process, and because it's a big IP, Marvel world, there's lots of hurdles to overcome before you start writing to crack the right story and to get the right tone. It's a new world for me, but what's nice about it is that it's a very grounded character. He doesn't have a lot of crazy superpowers and things like that, so he's much more grounded, and that fits what I like to do. That's as much as I know. I think that is as much as you know, because I don't think he's going to fight Spider-Man. I think that's a big red X is going to come
He's
on
going
that
to hunt other
sentence.
things.
I mean, this is the movie news cycle in a nutshell, which is that for a year and a half now, the speculation was, is Spider-Man going to be in Venom? And then Venom comes out and he's not. And the next week, is Spider-Man going to be in KRAVEN the Hunter? I don't know. I think that he obviously is a screenwriter. You would love to write the movie where KRAVEN and Spider-Man fight each other. Mm-hmm. Definitely, that's a big comic book storyline. I don't know if he'll be able to do that. There's a lot that goes into that. You can write it,
but they're not going to shoot that. Probably is my guess.
It's that there's a lot of. He's right. There are a lot of movie pieces in that world, and you have to talk to Marvel. You have to talk to Sony. You have to talk to Tom Holland. You've got to figure out where is Spider-Man in the chronology of the MCU, and does that storyline even fit? Because going by the comics, there are some fairly major ramifications to certainly the most famous, popular encounter between KRAVEN the Hunter and Spider-Man, and it's like, where is he elsewhere, and does that fit? I don't know. I think it would be a good movie, potentially, but I don't know if it's, at this stage, if you can say it's definitely happening.
Well, think about how complicated this is right now with Disney merging with Fox. They're closing out this phase of the MCU, and then they're in, I'm sure, very serious talks about how they're going to work together with the X-Men and how they're going to reform the X-Men. So I think probably with the Sony extended villain universe, they're like, you need to just do your own thing, and if Spider-Man's in our world, then he's not in those worlds, is my guess.
Which I don't necessarily mind. You know, in Marvel Comics, there's the big wings. Here's your Avengers wing, here's your X-Men wing, here's your Spider-Man wing. You've got editors that oversee each of those separate things, and every now and then they all get together and they have an even bigger Avengers-y event. And honestly, compared to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Hall of Spin-Offs, if the way to go to build up to Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six is 6 movies where maybe there's 20 seconds of Spider-Man, and then finally there's a 7th movie where they all beat the hell out of Spider-Man. Kind of into it. I don't necessarily hate it.
Building to that final, like earning that final battle.
Yeah, if you're really gonna just jump in and develop KRAVEN the Hunter without Spider-Man necessarily, like, okay, I like a good developed villain that doesn't die at the end of his movie.
What do you think? What do you think about that Spider-Man there, Ed?
You know what? This is where I go. Oh, God, Ed's stupid and he hates everything.
Ed, don't talk about Ed that way.
I'm just saying,
our friend Ed.
What's KRAVEN the Hunter? This pitch must have been amazing. Whatever he said to them to get them to go forward on this must have been absolutely amazing.
It was that he tries to leave a spaceport, and they're like, name, and he's like, KRAVEN, and they're like, what's your last name? And he's like, I don't have one. And they're like, what do you do? And he's like, I hunt. And a man went, KRAVEN the Hunter. And the studio went, brilliant!
I just feel like it's got to have been better than that. But I just feel like
you think so?
I just feel like this. He traps.
Historically not.
He traps. I'm just seeing like 15 different, the end of Predator, montages of him setting up traps,
Yeah.
like 20-minute montage of him setting up traps to have any chance against even the movie version of Spider-Man, who was very easily distracted. He's not the OP Spider-Man of the comic books, who still gets caught slipping with plot-induced stupidity when he fights this regular dude who traps stuff. It's like, you've got a danger sense. You can lift 10 tons. You can throw a Volkswagen over the fence, and this Russian guy with a Kalashnikov rifle and a lion's mane on is going to give you major problems. It's so stupid. I can't stand it. So, I get that they're going to try to do this. And boy, I hope they put their foot off in this, like my mom's mac and cheese. They're gonna have to brew this. They're gonna have to bake this. Gotta put the breadcrumbs on top. They're gonna have to do some
You're making
major
it sound
chefing.
really good.
They're gonna have to do some major
How
chefing
many
to make
cheeses?
this. It could be tuna casserole or super great mac and cheese.
Okay, talk to me
I
about.
like church.
I just
church.
feel like it's going to be hard. That's all I'm saying in a long-winded way. I believe it's going to be a really hard job to make him like a cool John Wick, Baba Yaga of the world, and then Spider-Man comes into his oeuvre. Maybe that's the way you go with it. Like, people are all around the world are worried when KRAVEN comes after your ass because he always gets his man, like a Canadian Mountie or something, and then Spider-Man stumbles into this adventure that KRAVEN's having.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that. I could see that. That's cool. But like anything less than that, I think would be very disappointing.
I really think that because of the affirmation, like it's not even sort of, because I think there's probably going to be folks saying like, well, we want to see that fight, and I'm sure that would be great if done well. That said, I really think that it's just the logistical complications of what they're trying to do. That currently, Venom, whoever else Venom comes up against, that it was revealed very clearly who that would be.
Directly to camera.
Like directly to camera.
Into
like
camera.
literally said it to the camera and everything. Anyway, that person, like that thing is going to be there, and then I think these other villains are going to be there, and then maybe there'll be like a Sinister Six situation down the line or something. But I do think they're going to preserve Spider-Man. I just don't think that they're going to get him involved until they absolutely have to, because then it gets, right now there's legions of people with maps of like, does the Marvel timeline make sense? You know, and now it's going to get so much more complicated with.
Sony already whiffed it in the first Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and Sony already blew it in the first Spider-Man
Yeah.
movie, right? They blew the whole timeline.
Yeah, it's
always-
not even close to accurate.
It's not even close to right.
Yeah. I know that movies are a different medium, but
Still liked it.
we've allowed Franklin Richards to be an 8-year-old boy for 40 years now in Fantastic Four. I feel like timeline, we can have a little forgiveness in those timelines.
Sure, but even just between the studios, like I just think that
I get you.
that
Yeah.
it gets. That's my guess, and I could be wrong. I think that these next several movies will not feature him, but and maybe to your point, Joe, they'll just earn it eventually.
Small tangent.
Yeah, please, big
I
tangent.
could do without people writing genre movies like this saying that their thing is grounded. Like, my guy's like Tony Stark is a grounded character. Yes, he's a billionaire that has an iron suit, but he has grounded things about him that make him relatable. He has weird daddy issues. He's an alcoholic. He can't commit to his relationship. Like, he has blah, blah. He feels responsible for
Even his
everybody.
greatest strength
That's
is a
grounded.
weakness, the heart thing.
Michael Keaton was a dude that flew around in a giant robotic bird costume, but he was still a grounded character.
Yeah.
Like, he was, doing what he was doing for his family and stuff like that. Had a basic moral code. Like, I get what he's trying to say in a way, but I want them to start finding a new way to say it.
I think
oh, go ahead.
sorry. I think if you were going to go back through the archives of the internet, I think grounded is a
Is the
word that has
most
been used since
used.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's code word. It's a code word for people saying this movie is not Batman and Robin, so they use the word grounded because they had to. Because I promise you that when
Fair.
they go back to 1999 and the producers and director of the first X-Men movie, I promise you will find interviews and clips of them saying this is a very grounded take
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
X-Men.
So you say there's not going to be a KRAVEN credit card?
yeah, exactly. I just feel like grounded is one of those things, and then it was
nipples in his
reaffirmed
line,
with
man.
Batman Begins because Batman Begins and Dark Knight did so well. So they're like grounded. Yeah, Batman was grounded in that movie. Yeah, this is grounded. This is like that. This is like
Yeah.
that. It's grounded. So I just.
Well, but that's
I don't
again,
think it's what it means.
Well, that's
I
just
think
my.
it means he doesn't like comics. No, really. Like,
not a real
like
fan.
whenever. No. I don't yell at me, and maybe he does, but I really think a lot of times when screenwriters say, because he didn't just say grounded, he also was like, he doesn't have a lot of superpowers and things like that, and that's what I like, because to me it's like, well, then you don't. like super villains or heroes because they have superpowers. You know?
That's my thing, though. A grounded KRAVEN the Hunter in a world that makes any logical sense gets the crap beat out of him by Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Second day, Spider-Man beats the crap out of a grounded KRAVEN the Hunter, period. So I think that's kind of like, that's my challenge with it, and hopefully he'll overcome it. Maybe this
Grounded
guy's super
KRAVEN the
great.
Hunter is a dentist that shot Cecil the Lion.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Spider-Man just swings in and punches him for being a dick.
On Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's what is your interpretation of the word grounded? Also the word interpretation. Horses.
Oh, it's time. It's time for horses.
It's time. This is via the Huffington Post, and this is an actual sentence from this article, and it makes me very happy. Hollywood's hottest new trend is horse-mance.
I read that as a Stefan voice.
Yeah,
Hollywood's
it's
hottest trend is
horse-mance.
horse-mance.
It's got everything. It's got fur. It's got William Shatner.
Gladiator.
It's got Russell Crowe. Now I'm.
Isn't a horsemancer a wizard that controls horses?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a horse-mancer. We're talking about horse-mances.
Oh,
So-
thank you. Scott Mance is a horse.
That is my favorite sentence that I will
barley.
read this week.
I like oats.
If you have an apple, I won't say no to an apple. That might.
Yeah.
Someone draw a Scott Mance centaur and tweet it, please.
Oh my God! Give the man a carrot. I play a traveling. Here's what Liam Neeson had to say about horses. I'm going to ask Joe Starr to read this as if he is in the movie Taken.
Oh, I play a traveling impresario. We filmed in New Mexico. The odd thing is the horse who pulls my wagon knew me. He actually remembered me from another Western we made a while back.
Which Liam Neeson does not remember the name of, clearly. Russell Crowe chimed in on his horseman story on Twitter. Who's got the best Russell Crowe?
Dan, probably.
Yeah, go for it.
It's just going to sound like a crazy Australian.
Good.
This is absolutely true. There's a horse, George, who I gave the speech in the forest in Gladiator on. Years later, he was on the set of Robin Hood, and we would have a chat every day. Same with the white horse, Rusty, and Robin Hood. We chatted again on Les Mis. Lifelong friends.
I am entertained. I am entertained.
What's amazing about that is, like, I'm just picturing Russell Crowe, like, wandering to the side of the set, just talking to the horses, and everybody's like, just give it a minute, just hang on. Like, makeup hold back for a
They're
minute.
crafty.
Russell,
They're
Russell needs a
horse
moment.
crafty.
Sharing some oats.
I'm literally just picturing this is almost a scene from BoJack Horseman to me, where it's just an animated Russell Crowe, who is a crow, an Australian crow named Russell
Of course,
Crowe,
of
talking to
course.
BoJack Horseman on the set of Robin Hood, where the crow plays a Robin Hood who is a robin that is an archer.
What
Yes.
what tickles your fancy about this story?
I'll tell
right
you
on
what. There are a few times that I read a story and then I just imagine a scene in my head. And then reading about Liam Neeson knowing a horse, to me, it's just, I imagine like a couple of PAs like on a set somewhere and like nodding, and they look over there and Liam Neeson is just standing across from a horse, and then you just hear him talking, and it's just like,
If you're looking for apples, I don't have any. You could walk away and that would be it.
Well, this
But
is
if you stay, I will ride you.
just like doing all of his movies to a horse, like just broing out with a horse,
oh gosh.
and the horse talks back somehow.
Yeah.
This is a movie in and of itself.
It clumps. 2 clumps
Yeah,
for yes.
exactly,
3
like-
clumps for no.
Hollywood's horse-mances.
First of all, that Western was definitely A Million Ways to Die in the West, and he just didn't want to.
He just didn't wanna
wanna
say what it
remind
was.
people that he was in
Yeah.
that movie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Either that,
100%.
or honestly, I think he just doesn't remember.
That's
you know?
also
I
possible.
feel like Liam Neeson definitely has the power of dissociation.
This
if he
is
wants
where
to
we
invoke
shout
it.
out Shatner, right?
Oh yeah,
I wish there was a way to show it where Casper Van Dien interviewed William Shatner for us, and William Shatner was only going to talk about horses for like 40 minutes.
Wow.
yeah.
It was glorious.
Well,
He
This-
loves horses.
he loves them.
But this just makes me think, okay, there's horse romances. I get that. So that means there's horse enmity on some level. There's somebody whose greatest enemy. Like,
Is
I
a
did
horse.
a bunch of Westerns, and I'll tell you, that horse is a son of a bitch. That Palomino over there, he's a dick. You know what I mean? If you can love a horse, you can hate a horse.
I
And vice
have
versa.
heard actors talking about that.
That's the deepest thing I've heard in a long time.
That's true though, because I have heard actors talking about their dick horses. Like were like just would take shits and stop in the middle of everything. Sorry. That's my one. In the middle of everything, or like just be an asshole, which is weird because they're trained.
There was a horse in Gladiator. We did a video, Billy Business, and we all did a video about extras who were doing too much. And there was a horse in Last Samurai who kicked a guy in the nuts.
That was a mean horse.
Straight on
He's
purpose.
telling that story.
I've almost been killed by 3 horses, so I have 3 horse enemies,
Yeah, exactly.
and I won't get on another horse.
There you go. See?
Did you almost get thrown?
Is there a point at which you think you might be the problem and not the horse?
Quite possibly. I don't know. Yeah.
Like, are you on like a wanted poster in a horse post office? It's just Joe Starr. Joe Starr rides too
Quite
hard.
possibly. Yeah, a horse named Cricket was like, nope. And just like did a full rollover. Oh. Like I had to bail really quick. Yeah. Yeah. Screw you, Cricket.
Yeah.
I hope you're dead.
So you can hate a horse.
Yep,
can-
you can't hate a horse.
Hate a horse.
I hope that horse is glue, man.
I just love this idea of there's like a whole Hollywood horse scene where they all get together and drink and compare stories about different actors. Like, will you believe who showed up on this set?
Yeah.
Russell effing Crowe.
Acting like my best friend.
Also, if they can love and hate a horse, then the horse can love and hate them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it goes both ways, certainly. Like,
I think Liam Neeson said that the reason that he knew the horse knew him was that he started like pawing the ground and showed signs of recognition. So yes, I think that there is a whole horse world that we're not aware of.
All right.
That happens underneath our noses.
Agreed.
the world you know.
In barns across Hollywood. And
Billy's
nation.
laughing from the booth today.
Yes, Billy, this is dumb.
He just yelled at us if you guys didn't hear. This is so dumb. Well, welcome to our show. You wrote the script, buddy.
To be fair, I am the one that
I
sent
know you
Billy this
did.
link and
Yeah.
said, Billy, can we please
please?
talk about this?
Dan trotted this one out.
Yeah, so there's a billboard in Screen Junkies offices that just has HORSE-MANCES, circle, circle.
We love Scott Mance so much, too. I want that to be clear. But especially we love even more than Scott Mance, HORSE-MANCE, I think is just a little, just by a hair.
HORSE-MANCES is my
Yeah.
new obsession.
I'm pretty excited about horse.
Seabiscuit is the best horse movie ever made. It is the Citizen Kane of horse movies. As I point my hooves instead of my fingers.
I'd actually point to the Black Stallion and National Velvet HORSE-MANCE, but if you want to throw down about it in a movie
National
fight, horse
Velvet
fights,
remake starring Margot Robbie.
Damien Chazelle to direct. It's their first collaboration. He's the director of a generation.
Horse-Mance. Get
So-
ready for horse fights.
So Dan was kind enough to send that this morning to us. I actually got sent a story on Twitter relevant to my interest. Kurt Russell is a badass Santa Claus. What's that you say?
Wow.
I hope you guys have seen the trailer for this, because if you haven't, you are missing out on some magic. This is the Christmas Chronicles. It's a
God.
Netflix original movie. It features a sister and brother whose Christmas Eve plan is to catch Santa. Shenanigans ensue. It turns into an unexpected caper when his sleigh crashes and they have to work together to save Christmas. Billy's one question, this is on November 22nd. It's going to be released on Netflix, and I will be awaiting that with bated breath. The one question that Billy has, by the way, there's only one answer to this, is who would be a badass Mrs. Claus? Joe Starr.
It would be you, Roth.
Yes, it would be me! If Kurt Russell is the Santa Claus and I am the Mrs. Claus. He doesn't believe in marriage, and neither do I.
Santa or Kurt?
But we do believe in monogamy. I don't know what I'm talking about. Somebody else talk about Santa.
No, we're staying right here.
Yeah, we're gonna stay here.
How many boxes is this checking for you, Roth?
Yeah, like
This movie looks so bad. Roth and I watched the
so
trailer
bad.
before you guys came in.
It looks truly heinous and the best possible
But
way.
it also looks amazing because it's just
amazing.
Kurt Russell being fully aware of what movie he's in.
Yeah.
How do you
but
land
look at
Kurt
that.
Russell for this?
Don't know.
I think times.
Got that Netflix money.
Yeah, I mean Netflix has money, and also just this Santa blade jumping across the rooftops is intriguing to me. You know, it just him giving some speech like the world you know is a sugar-coated topping.
But it's like that's it. That's what he's doing. Like to the elves.
But he's like being real Burton-y about
Yeah.
it though. He's being real Jack Burton-y and
Yeah, he
swaggery
is.
about it. Like that's his Santa. Is just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
He's
Big
just like
trouble.
on the sleigh talking into
Doing
like
this to a CB
doing
radio.
a CB radio
Yeah.
to know, to I guess the elves. I
On
don't know.
a dark and stormy Christmas
Yeah.
Eve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big trouble in this little Christmas.
Big Trouble in Little Christmas.
Old Jack Burton says.
Yeah.
Well, oh, and you said so, Mrs. Claus. Besides
Noel.
Roth, I would love to see somebody like pretty almost age appropriate and Mrs. Santa appropriate. So it would be like I like Melissa McCarthy. I think she's got the physicality. She's like a Kevin James type, which I
Mrs.
never
Claus?
thought I'd say, but she is. She's a fat lead. She could get it on and slam people. That spy movie she did was great.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was very underrated. So I could see her as a badass Miss Claus. Like, you know, she's like they pull a button and she like pops out and all her
Clausiness.
regalia. Yeah.
Dan,
Ooh. Dame
Judy.
Maggie Smith.
Damn it.
Ooh.
Or Dame Judi Dench.
Good move.
Ooh.
Or any of the dames.
Any of the dames?
Any of the dames that are around. I'm all for it.
Oh, Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren.
Helen
Dame
Mirren,
Helen
sorry.
Mirren.
I'm going
We like to do the Mavens together.
Yes.
now, just based on the Kurt
She's the
Russell
most badass
performance
of the
I've seen
Mavens.
in the trailer, I'm going to go Susan Sarandon.
Oh, that's a good one. That's good.
Ooh.
I like
good.
that.
That's
No
good.
one is watching our show at this point, but I enjoyed this conversation.
Susan Sarandon might be the one.
She is definitely the one.
Yeah.
You guys should go watch this trailer. It looks incredible in all in all that implies. And
I
I
have to go
will
see this now.
2,000% be watching this movie on November
It looks
22nd.
like a fake trailer from
It
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, it truly does. Yeah, it does not look real, but joyfully, it is real, and we are going to be able to watch it together. I might have to live tweet this one.
Is it like the one from was it Scrooged? The night the one where Christmas where
Kind of.
Santa's like
It's Lee Majors.
Exactly, yeah.
A little bit.
What is it, the night?
Yeah.
The night the reindeer
The
died.
night
Yes, the night the reindeer died. It does look like that quite a little bit.
You know, I was on the set of another movie, and this reindeer, he recognized me from the last Christmas movie I did. But yeah.
There was, in case you're wondering why I did that, there was like a little floaty thing.
Smacking away my halo?
Coming straight for Ed. I saved his life.
Lost her mind.
He owes me a life debt. All right.
Chewbacca.
It's been weird today, so I liked it. Thank you, Ed, for joining us.
Oh, it was super fun.
What do you want people to watch?
Like movie-wise?
No, that you are a participant
Ed
in.
Wise.
Ed Wise.
Well, Billy Business was on Nerd Goat and it blew up. Our latest episode has a guy goating Hank Venture from the Venture Brothers.
Awesome.
So we have a really cool in-depth conversation on that. NerdGoatPodcast.com and follow us on
Awesome.
Twitter. And Ed Greer Destroys on Twitter and Instagram. And please like my pictures on Instagram. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And some of the older pictures get no love because they got put up when I had no followers. So yeah, please like some of that older stuff.
Go like his pictures. Joe, it's so good to have you back.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You guys can watch the 2 Doctor Who Honest trailers plus the commentaries. Dan and I did a First Man review. That one up this morning.
Indeed.
Do you have some things that you would like the folks to watch as well?
I'm just kind of on, just thinking about everybody in Florida right now. I went to Florida State. Tallahassee is inland, so it's not going to catch the full brunt of it. But I'm sort of on standby. I think there's probably going to be a lot of people there that are going to need some help in the next few days. So if you're in Florida, stay safe. I hope you're in a safe place. And everyone's thinking of being. Hope that it looks like a pretty bad storm. So
Love you, Fort Walton Beach. Stay safe.
Yeah, my
yeah.
family's in Fort Walton Beach.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just hopefully, there's much division, but it seems like the one thing that brings a lot of people together is when there's a common cause of people in need. So I hope that continues. So
Yeah. Echoing that, I think we all have family or friends in Florida. And so we will put up links if there are places to donate and help over the next few days.
But today, stay
To
safe.
stay safe today. Thoughts are with you. Thank you so much, Dan, for bubbling that up. And thank you guys, and we will see you tomorrow.